Ready?
This is Nicole. Welcome to Beyond the Grind.
Let's talk about it. So, it's a couple of things we wanted to talk about today.
Okay.
One, before we got on, Nicole was helping me through something. I couldn't get the mic working.
Small little hurdles.
I was like, man, I can't get the microphone working today.
It's okay. It's okay. I mean, I'm a couple years younger, so I might be more in tune with the tech. Like, I'm joking.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, today we really wanted to kind of talk about one key topic. I think anybody that, we're going to have a variety of topics to talk about.
We always are we're going to start off with one topic and then go somewhere completely else. But that's the whole point of our dialogue.
We'll come back to it.
Yeah.
But the one key topic we wanted to talk about today was, how about those people that own their own businesses and people they know that don't support them? Whew. I got to drop my mic on this
one. Drop that mic. Boom. Listen, honestly, so...
Look, you had to take a deep breath.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, so I remember when I first was licensed in 2016.
What, a realtor?
To become a realtor. Yeah. Or a real estate agent. When I told, you go, your sphere of influence, so I'm telling everybody. So I remember, maybe months had passed, and I had somebody come up to me who I knew really well, and they were asking me all this real estate advice.
Yep.
And then they said, because I'm going to ask my realtor.
Wow.
Pause?
Yeah.
So you're asking me advice.
But then you want to go back to
so you can go to your real estate agent. And it's like, why don't we support our loved ones first?
I mean, that's why we're talking about it.
And we always want a discount. Shouldn't it be a thing of that you support, you want to pay your family full price because you want them to thrive? We're always looking for that hook. Give me the hookup. No, if you truly love me, you would pay me what I'm worth.
Well, let's be honest. There's some stores that won't give you the hookup. I needed a new, what do you call these? I'm getting old. Cord.
The cord, the charging.
Yeah, charging cord for the car, right? Don't laugh at me.
So help me out. I gotta show you.
So I went to the store and the man told me that it was $20.99 for the cord.
That's expensive now.
Right. And I said, well, he said, I'll throw in the charger part with it. And I said, well, I just need the cord just to go in my car.
Yeah.
So we're working real estate. I got to have my phone charged.
Exactly.
And he's like, well, it's $20.99. I said, why can't I get it for $19.99? I said, well, if I went into your liquor store and came up, a dime or so short, you're not going to let me go.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You always want to make sure that we pay for every single thing. So if you got a price on there, I'm just paying the price that you got on there to be paid.
Exactly.
I'm not paying
a
more.
Penny more.
No. So it goes to show, again, we go to that concept. The value equals the perceived benefit minus the cost. If people see the value in a product or service, it doesn't matter how much it costs.
Exactly.
So ultimately, it goes back to what you're saying. Why don't people see the value in their loved ones and their friends,
and you
where they want a discount?
But is it the crab in the barrel where we always have a mindset of thinking it's not enough for everybody? There's not enough, it's not enough money for all of us to get it, so I'm gonna keep it to myself. And
well, right. I mean,
or it's an entitlement.
And what do you that same person that tried that with you probably end up paying more money to the other person or whatever the other person requested specifically? Because I've been through it too.
It's fun. You know what's so frustrating? Even knowing that I start off as an agent, right?
Right.
We don't even give our families that first, a new hair product will come out, right? And it hasn't been tested for years. And the first thing we'll do is we'll try it. We're willing to try it, even though it's new. We don't know if it's, tested where your hair might fall out next 6 months using it. So we're willing to take a leap of faith. But when it comes to our loved ones who are starting a new business, the background chatter is I'm gonna wait to see what happens with this before we support. And it's
why do you think that happens though?
It could be environmental of thinking no one's gonna move beyond this space. It's always
Right.
for everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So when your family, like, let's say if your family pops up saying, I'm gonna become a singer, and you're just like, no, Beyonce can do that, but you're just gonna be like local.
Right.
So sometimes we put our fears and our limitations on somebody else and thinking
Ooh.
that they're not gonna go further
Awful
because of
thing.
what
Ooh.
because of what we think is going to happen. I personally think that you should support family. I'm the biggest cheerleader for family.
And I guess my question to this is like, me too. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Me too. I'm a big component of family, or because sometimes a friend you could get that could be closer than somebody in family.
You don't need blood to bond you.
You know what I mean? You might meet somebody that you just bonded with.
Yeah, there's I have family and I have relatives.
Go ahead, you preaching again.
Yeah, we may be related, but we ain't family.
And you can't help how God made that happen.
Right. That oh my God, you just said it.
Ooh.
God was in control of making us relatives.
Right.
I'm choosing my family.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't said something.
So yes, there's friends who are family who we support and who, but then it's like, how close are we?
Right.
Like, if you don't want to support me.
No, and I guess my question or even statement to this is, do you think it just happens with family if you're running like a business, say you're running hair, or we always talk about real estate, or if you were in insurance sales, or just say you had a product or service that you were selling, like sneakers at a store or something, t-shirt. Do you think it just happens that family don't support those businesses? And the reason why I asked this question, because it's two-part, is because, say, for example, and I hear you talk about your nephew before, 15-year-old. So say he was playing basketball, and all of a sudden he was just really good, and then now they reach out to him and they say, look, you shouldn't even go to college. The NBA is calling for you.
Yeah.
Let me think of a not good team right now. The Portland Trail Blazers want you. You can go there. Now all the family rallying behind.
Let's buy tickets.
Yeah, they all rally. Oh, that's my. So how come that doesn't happen when it goes to the family members that's running the business?
Okay, so in my opinion, I think it's several factors. So when it comes to real estate, I personally think that in communities or families, no one wants to talk finances. It's a pride thing. So if you're my agent, you know what I can afford. Right. Which means that whatever image that I want to come presenting when I'm around at the family gatherings, I possibly may not be able to do that. I can't put on this facade that I'm doing better than what I am when I can't even afford this, or my credit won't allow me that. And I think that we don't ever want to have that authentic transparency with each other that says, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm striving to get better. And I'm trusting you that you're not going to judge me for being where I'm at. Because we always want to have that facade.
That makes sense.
Whereas you come into a basketball game or supporting whatever, it gives an image of notoriety, and everyone deems like people seeing you and being attached to someone who's going to be famous is like, oh, that gives me, it's like that high school mentality of like, I'm in with the popular kid. And it's like, really? Like,
so, I mean, because essentially a business could blow up like that too.
Yeah, but no one wants to take a chance. That takes time.
Right.
And that's not fame. I feel like sometimes we ride a coattail of trying to be attached to famous rather than success, because success can take longer.
Look at you. So we talk about success taking longer. And I'm always, as you and I was talking about before, we're both sponges. So I'm always like learning and listening and watching and I'm seeing what's going on.
Yeah.
Just to kind of switch too, it reminds me of like when I was just dropping my son off to school the other day.
Yeah.
On the way back, I hate this. I hate when a car gets behind you and they're just riding you.
Tailgating. 2 cars behind.
That's people. The word.
2 cars behind. No one
I was about
to
say
that.
riding something else, but I said, let me
make it G.
That's right. And and the guy's just riding me.
Yeah.
So, and it's my kids and everybody, they all laugh because they like, my daughter says, Daddy, you a slowpoke. Because I don't like driving fast. But it's not the part of me not liking to drive fast. It's me like thinking. I'm like, while I'm on my course or wherever I'm going, I don't want to rush. So in my car, I don't even look in the
Yeah.
rear view mirror. If we walk outside right now and go to my car, my rear view mirror is pushed up to the ceiling.
Wow. You said no looking back for you.
That's a reason why the windshield is way bigger than the rear view mirror.
Yeah, you
I need to
looking
see what's happening.
ahead.
I don't look in, and it was when my children were younger. She would always get in the car, and she would bring the mirror back down. She's like, "You need to see in case somebody's like, no, I need to see what's in front of me. God's going to control everything that happened behind me. I need to see what's happening right here."
Mm-hmm.
So it's to the point, when I'm, I just let the car go around me. I'm just like, yo, go around me. But when I'm driving, when I'm in my lane, like, it's so many lessons from this. It's like, I'm trying to stay in my own lane.
There you go. Stay in your lane. You're not looking back.
Right. And, like, I think a lot of times people rush to their destinations.
We rush in life. We have a fast food mindset.
I like fast food mindset.
We do. If you think about it, in this society, everything has to be fast.
Right.
Even when it comes to careers, and everyone's trying to be the next hot thing.
Right.
And when it doesn't happen, it's like we just quit because we have fast food. Like, we need it to happen fast, and we need it to happen now. No one takes their time to plan, because half the time, if you planned more according, like you were like planning in advance, you wouldn't be rushing to your destination.
Yeah.
You would have left early, did your hair, brushed your teeth, got your clothes done.
Look at you. And I
mean, I'm not always the most punctual person, but
well, me either. But
I don't rush.
I agree with that. I think we miss so much when you're like rushing. And then so all these thoughts go to my head like as this stuff is happening, because in the last thought I was having, I was like, even though this guy was riding, what you call it, tailgating. He was on my tail. And the average person would have been affected, like your emotions. You like,
or intimidated.
Yeah, you're like, oh, let me move over. And I said, no, I'm staying in my lane. I got somewhere I'm trying to be, but I don't want to rush to get there. I need to have all these thoughts. I need to keep listening to my inspirational speakers, and I need to survey the surroundings that's going on.
Exactly.
But even out of all of those things, as fast as the guy was going, empathy kicked in. Because my last thought is, I hope this guy doesn't crash.
At certain points, I'm like, if you late, you're just already late.
Yeah, right.
Just let it ride out. And then I find myself having to like check myself when it comes to my children.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Where it's like, let's say I'm working. Because a lot of times when I'm working, all of a sudden, everybody has a story to tell me, needs me, and I love it. And sometimes you have to be honest, like you're in the middle of typing, and then you're like, all right, come, baby.
Right.
And it's like, I had to say, but why are you rushing her? Because you're never going to get this moment back.
We talked about it.
Yeah, you got to like, and like you said, like you got to sometimes just be present in the moment. And we're so sometimes focused on tomorrow and the day after and the day after that we missed all of this. And you always say that, like, making sure that moment doesn't become just a memory.
A memory, yeah.
And at that, it can be a distant memory.
Right.
And I never want me to rush so much that there's a point in time when my children have a choice to be around me and they don't choose it because they always felt, oh, there was like, you rushed me. I wasn't significant enough for you to pause
and stop what you was doing. Yeah. And I think it's hard right now. I mean, just because of the way society is, like you just said, we're in a fast food society. Everybody wants everything like right now. Like when we was growing up, when we wanted to go watch a movie, we had to go to the movie theater.
Exactly. Now you can just stream it.
Right. Netflix and all these things.
Exactly.
Like there was a study done that said if you like essentially take social media away from kids, they go through depression.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can believe it.
Because there's
some people's friends are on the computer.
Exactly. And they're used to having like everything like right now. Because right now. So if they want to watch a movie, what is it called? The new Under the Sea movie.
Oh,
Ariel, whatever.
Yeah.
So you want to watch that? Bam, you just go press the button.
You want to order food? Bam, go on your phone, Uber Eats.
Yep. You want something delivered to your house?
There you go.
Here.
Wow.
So imagine taking that away from somebody.
That's destroying patience.
There you go. So when we talk about staying in my lane and driving,
right,
we also implement the fact of like, I'm going to use your term, destroying patience.
Yeah.
You know, but at the end of the day, it's like, it's so many lessons to be learned from it because I'm driving, you ride my tail, I'm looking out my windshield, I'm doing all this planning for the day. I'm like, look, I'm going to the office, I'm going to write this contract, I got to update my vision board.
Right.
And then here's this person coming behind me, going back. And I'm like, no, I'm going to stay in my lane. Then he goes in the other lane. Then he goes into the next lane. And I'm like, I hope he doesn't crash. So I take it as like life lessons, you know?
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can move so fast. People can move you out your lane. You can stay in your lane. But ultimately, you can crash if you're not prepared.
If you're not prepared. And then I'm realizing that a lot of people's actions, like, you know how people take it to heart when someone does something like, why would they do it to me or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm realizing it's more of a reflection of them than it is me.
Right.
I think when things occur, even dealing with a family member or someone who we're close to, not even deciding to, patronize and support, we take it on as a rejection where it's like, oh my God, like, why wouldn't they choose me? And we start almost internalizing it versus flipping it and saying, that's more of a reflection of them.
Oh, I like that.
Rather than it being
a
something
reflection of us, yeah.
And then you can even really take power from it and say, how can I make a better business plan where it's like, I'm gonna have like, how can I make more people want to come to me?
Right.
Like, what can I do to market myself to say this is the person that I want to use?
Right.
And then by the time you want to use me, I'm going to tell you no. I'm joking. That's just petty.
No, that's real.
But you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I can think of maybe 30 or 40 times where like people have come, they wanted to get information about like real estate. Some of it was general life information. A lot of time it was real estate where, they say, okay, I want to buy a house. And then they may have had the worst credit ever. And, I give them the steps to take, gave them the individuals, the players that can help them reach the desired outcome they wanted to get.
Yeah.
And once they got that result, I keep calling them and it's like,
these ghosted you.
Oh, and these are people you grew up with, you played sports with, you didn't bled with on the field or on the wrestling mat or whatever it is. Like they are like family, because when you wrestle or when you play football, it's like it's a bond. These people are like family. So it's like, why would you go to people? Why would you go to an expert, somebody that you like care about and trust,
exactly,
and then take that information from them, and then go to somebody
utilize
else,
it, and then almost grow somebody else. But like I said, I personally think it really does have a deep issue to do with image. Like if you think we don't really pretend with our strangers.
Right.
The most pretending is done with the people who we interact with the most.
That makes
sense.
In
some ways, like you think of the people who you work with, or if you go to church or certain groups, you're given this persona of I got all my stuff together.
Right. Yeah.
Where when you show up on Thanksgiving, it's like everyone dresses up to have this persona of, I'm showing up my best, no matter what I'm feeling.
Or Easter.
Or Easter is the best. Yes, that's the best holiday.
Palm Sunday.
Yes, because we show up with this facade that we have it all together because we're pretending. Whereas when it comes to things of the finances, instead of us having a dialogue of like, hey, I really want to buy a house.
Right.
And like, I know you probably thought I had it together, but I dug myself in a hole. Can you help me so I can get better so you can be the one to help me?
Yeah, but why they don't hit you and be like, all right, well, you got somebody else in your office that can help. I'm trying to get into the mind of these people.
I think that's the problem. We're getting into the mind of it. Now takes it on as our issue. That's a you problem.
Now, would you do that to somebody?
No, because that says a lot more about my character.
Me neither. I feel like if I reach out to you, if we got a whole long relationship, I've known you forever.
I'm deep on loyalty.
Yeah, me too. And I think when we talked about character, I think it goes to show a person's level of loyalty when it comes to that. Because it's like, I almost see it as stealing.
It is, because that's money that you could have had and you didn't just go behind and do whatever. You came to me first and utilized my information, but then that was my fault. Because instead of me giving free, when it comes to life advice, that's different.
Right.
I love you. But when it comes to things that are my bread and my butter, that make me my coin, right? I have to be more responsible with the way I give that. Because you said it one time before when we were training, when I first got in your team, about I have to, like, there's value in me.
Right.
So remember I had the client who, she was like, I'm working with somebody who, like, is a family friend, but can you still send me houses? And I'm like, should I? Because I don't mind,
right.
And you're like, no, you have value.
Right.
And if they see your value, they'll come back. Well, guess what? They came back.
Right.
So I think it's our fault for not setting up boundaries to our value and saying, like, this is what I'm worth.
Right.
And I would love to assist you on this journey, but you're going to have to retain me for my information.
I like that. Now, I see it as knowledge stealing.
I'm smiling because I know you're going to go with it, but okay, go ahead.
I'm agreeing 100% what you said, but I see it as knowledge stealing. So, for example,
elaborate.
If you go to the doctor,
okay,
who's the first person you talk to before you get into the doctor?
The nurse.
Right.
Oh, or the receptionist. Yep.
And then something happens in that period when you talk to the receptionist before you actually get the appointment. And what happens?
You sit and wait.
Well, you got to pay a fee or something.
Oh, your copay, yes. Retainer. Give me my retainer.
Then you get to the doctor, and then the doctor basically makes revenue off of you by asking all open-ended questions.
Yeah, they do.
He's like, "Oh, hey, Nicole.
So what brings you in for this visit today?"
Yes. And can you tell me more about that?
Do you know the way they do doctoring is different?
Tell me about it.
Okay, so I went to a doctor's appointment, and I was going in. It was a physical. But so, when you're going for your physical, they say, so what brings you in today? I know you're here for your physical. Is there anything you're concerned about? And I'm like, well, now you said it. Yeah, I have this. You know what they responded?
What?
They said, well, you're here for a physical, so I don't know if we're going to be able to get to everything you said. You're going to have to make another appointment for that.
Oh, they setting you up for another
more money for me? Like, doctoring has changed. So a physical is just a questionnaire. Like, no, check these things out. That
right, that you sit there paying for.
Luckily, this doctor was decent enough, and they changed the type of an appointment, so now they're going to bill me differently.
Right.
But it was like, well, let's do your EKG, let's do all this other stuff. But it was like, hold up, physicals before, like, isn't that the whole point of you checking?
If you checking, you getting checked out.
Sorry,
right?
it was very triggering. It triggered me, like,
now
it's all about the money.
See, now they're going to put you in therapy and then get you on medication.
No.
You went to the physical.
Don't play with my mind here.
Lord.
Don't play. No. Be holistic, right? But no, for real, like, we do have to ask more questions, and I think that if we set the tone of our value,
right,
so they won't knowledge steal from us. You got to pay for my knowledge, because my knowledge could be the very thing that gets you the deal that you may not want to do, but I won't feel like you stole from me.
So how? Okay, so with somebody, because these people.
It's sounding real personal over there.
No. Actually, I mean, currently and recently, I don't have any of these experiences.
But you have had them.
Yes, I've had them, and I've had other people that work in our industry tell me they had these experiences.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to just see a recurring theme. I've had them a lot of times where people, like, very, very close to me, that came to me, they got knowledge, they got information. I kept calling them. They wouldn't call back. And then finally they would answer and say, "Oh yeah, I already got a house." It's like, well, I gave you all this information. And then it even happened on the other side where another individual's brother. So that same individual's brother, who I grew up with, I had a property on the market. He had the realtor call me to see if he can get a discount on the listing.
That's bold.
Yeah.
So we need to be as bold and tell them no.
Right. And then the twist to all this is that these individuals now in the future have started a company, but contact me and want my support based on my status within the industry.
So I have a question for you.
Sure.
You asked me a question, but I'm going to ask about the characteristics of what you're talking about. Would you put that in a category of toxic? Because how do you deal with toxic relationships within business practices and even family? Like, and being able to say, I don't care who you are, this is toxic, I'm walking away with it. Because those are toxic traits.
Yeah,
I feel like I can take from you, take, benefit, and then I still don't want to give you anything back, because any relationship should be like a
law of reciprocity.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a law. I mean, when we talk about the law of reciprocity, like, for example, if I go run a stop sign right now,
yeah,
I broke the law.
You sure did.
There's a price to pay when you break the law.
Exactly.
There's a penalty.
Yes.
You're getting a fine.
It's not a one-way street.
I'm giving a ticket to you to pay.
Exactly. No, I'm not going to do that. I had to pause there. No, I'm not. I don't get tickets. I've never got pulled over by a cop and got a ticket.
Well, I'm giving you mine to pay.
We can't do that. It's not my ticket to pay. You broke the law.
Right.
You broke it.
That's the point here. So it's the law of reciprocity. It's the reason why it's called the law of reciprocity. That means give and take, receive, back and forth. And I feel like if you're in a business relationship, I feel like it has to be that. It should happen organically. It shouldn't be about, hey, you did this for me, so let me do this for you.
Mm-hmm.
So why do individuals that's like your friends or family feel like they can break that law when it comes to whatever it is? So say, for example, you were a lawyer.
Okay.
And one of your family members got in trouble. But they never, well, I'm going to say you were a criminal defense lawyer.
Okay.
And one of your family members got in trouble. Now, this is just a scenario I'm making up.
Yeah.
I don't have this in my family. It's just an example.
Privilege. I'm joking. He said, not going over here.
So now you're the criminal defense lawyer.
Okay.
And the family member that you never hear from calls you out of nowhere. How do you handle this? She said,
Because you added an element when you first said family member, and then you put some context in there and some sauce and said it's a family member I never heard from.
Mm-hmm.
So personally, for me,
you know them, but they just don't contact you. You don't communicate.
No, I'm saying, but when you're saying I never heard from you, then that means we haven't.
You haven't their glasses on.
I know, right? You haven't taken time to build a relationship with me.
Right.
So if it was me, the fact is that I would contribute is, am I close to your mom? That would matter.
Well, what about the dad?
Or whoever is the parent.
Don't be leaving the dad.
I know, right? Oh, that's toxic. Forgive me, because there are households with daddies. So am I close to, if they're like well, it depends. If they're my peer,
right,
and it's a cousin I never heard of, honestly, I would have to weigh, how does this affect the family as a whole? Like the outcome of, I would need to figure out what you did, because I'm all accountability. If you did something wrong,
right,
I do think you should be held accountable. I don't think you should get slapped with wrist.
But you're the lawyer, so
I'm the lawyer.
They're reaching out to you.
I don't know if I'm going to take your case as because I would have to, first of all, read about it. I would have to see if you are worth the risk.
So what I'm hearing from you, out of all of that right there, is when we have those individuals that are coming to us for our knowledge and expertise, even if they are close friends and family, we have to evaluate from the very beginning if what we're giving them in knowledge is worth the risk.
It's worth the risk of what could come back. When I'm talking to people, and I'm not lazy with my trust. I remember my pastor was like, continual behavior over time equals trust. And so just because you are my mom, just because you're my sister, but I use the closest relationships to me, so that's bad. But just because of your relationship to me,
right, doesn't
mean you automatically got access to me. So I don't care about you. We're family. Oh, we're related.
Right.
Cool. Have we, built on a relationship? Then in addition to that, if this is not my first time addressing you treating me that way,
right,
then that's a toxic relationship. And I don't care who you are. I'm not having any toxicity in my life.
Yeah.
That's bad energy. So I will cut that off. I don't want to be used.
So how did you define if it's toxic if you never knew from the very beginning?
So I'm not going to say the first time.
I didn't drop my mic.
You did. Oh, you dropped the mic.
I didn't slam my mic. I didn't dump my mic.
For real, you dropped your mic on. That was a good question.
Yeah.
All right. So identifying.
Sure I get it back on.
So I'm not.
Producer get upset.
Right. I know. Production. We're sorry. That was already. So I'm not a throw them all away. Right.
Right.
So I
how do you come back from it?
Communication.
So if
I never discussed with you that was a boundary. I'm gonna come to you depending on my rapport with you. Like, I thought it was real like grimy how you came to me asking for my knowledge that I actually invested in, and you use it to benefit somebody else. What made you not come to me? What made you feel as though I was only good enough to take from and you didn't want to work with me?
Right.
Depending on their response and their reception to me discussing my grievance with them, then that determines what category I'm gonna put you in. Now, if you gonna gaslight the heck out of me, like, oh, you stop taking that deep,
right,
then I'm like, oh, okay, toxic. But if you're like, I'm sorry, I was so unaware of that, and I apologize. I know we can't go back in time, but next time, then I'm like, all right, cool. Like, we all make mistakes.
Right.
I'm glad I was able to talk to you about that.
Because I like that answer. Because I think that people, like, when you become, and I was talking to my cousin about this.
The one who's an attorney, right?
Yes.
Okay.
One of the key, he's a life mentor to me. One of the key words he always mentions is being a foremost expert. Being a foremost expert.
So what does he mean by that?
Like, you're the highest expert you can be in your field. So you're like,
yes,
foremost expert.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of times people extract information from individuals that are in their family members or friends that are foremost experts, but then they go to somebody else. I mean, it's very like, it becomes funny at some point.
It is amusing.
Because you ultimately see what's happening, or you'll get a random text or a call like, hey, can you give me a call when you have a chance? It's like, oh, didn't hear from this person in 600 years, a month of Sunday.
So what do you do? A month of Sundays. I love that saying. So what is your response?
Different. It just varies on the type of conversation it is. There's I'll give you an answer to this.
Okay.
But there's been times where I got calls to, hey, come look at my mom's house, and mom's either deceased or in nursing home. And you go out and look and you give the information, and then you see properties listed with somebody else. Is like, well, why'd you ever call to get all my insight and expertise?
And then your plan on how to sell it. Yeah.
It ultimately is like, you plan to have me come out and give you my knowledge and my foremost expert opinion. And then you went with somebody else that doesn't even have that.
But that's our fault, because every other field there's a consult fee, right?
Right.
So you have designers and even now when you get your hair done, I mean, I don't go to the hairdresser, but when you get it done, they're like a consult fee.
Right.
Like to figure out a game plan and everything like that. And it's our fault for dropping the ball and not setting this up like a business that no matter who comes through, I'm going to treat it like a business. Like, that's our fault for being like, oh, you family, so like I can let it down.
Yeah, we can let it go.
Cool. We can, drop the ball. Now, I do not believe in being like a shark and just being vicious to any old body, because I feel as though in a world where everything costs, kindness is free. So I do believe that some people need grace. They need that extra chance. They need that one person to give them an opportunity.
Oh, so even if they do you wrong, you basically saying, and I don't want to use the word do you wrong, because I see it as they showed you who they were.
There you go.
Because we talk about character. My grandma would always say, there's two things I hate, a liar and a rogue. I said, what's a rogue? She said, a thief. That's what it is.
A liar and a thief.
That's right. And she said, you lied to me, you'll steal from me. I'm like, I don't know if that's been tested yet.
Oh my gosh, that's my mom used to be like, and if you lied and this and then you killed, I'm like, extra.
Well, I mean,
but she would always go down the line like, if you would do this and you would do this,
yeah,
because you have no moral compass.
If you keep on hearing it all, I mean, look, the Bible is the #1 selling book,
and
they ain't even have internet. So if we keep on hearing the same thing from all different parties, and there's got to be truth behind it. But nevertheless, I see it as knowledge stealing. So the way I've been handling it is that I'm at the position where I'm saying, being direct. It's like, oh, hey, thanks for reaching out. How you been? How everything? Are you just looking to get this information, and are you going to use it with someone else? Because when you
you got to be direct, though.
Yeah, you got to.
But I think that comes with effective communication.
Right.
And not everybody exhibits the traits to effectively communicate, because you putting yourself out there is already showing your vulnerability of saying, I don't want to be used. And you're effectively communicating, hey, what is your motive behind doing this? And a lot of times they're either going to lie or they'll tell the truth like, nah, I just wanted to know. And it's like, all right, cool. For a consult, let's schedule a time because I do this.
Right. And I think when it comes to like a family member or a friend, they're not going to want to lie to you because they know you can kind of track the results of what they said. So
really?
I mean, like if they reach out to you, like we just talk about real estate, for example, and they say, oh, Nicole, I'm trying to buy a house. And then you give them the information just naturally talking. Oh, these are the steps you take.
Yeah.
Do this. And you know what? Let me sit down and give you a presentation and tell you about how I do it, how other realtors, they may or they may not, but this is how I do it. This is my sauce. Exactly. And you give them your sauce. And then, bam, you look online because everything is social media.
It is, and they post it.
And you see a picture of them holding a sign.
Sold. Favorite realtor.
And you're like, yo, I just gave them all the information. Like, they ain't going to want to do that because they know you can track that result.
But sometimes you have that, like I said, I'm going to take this on more so of what I could do better in that situation is having my business affairs in order. So even if I'm not charging you for a consult, it would be like, oh, well, we'll need a schedule. They're going to want that information instantly.
Right.
But if the moment I say, let me check my calendar so we can sit down in time and do a consult, let me pencil you in.
So barbecue or no matter what, like you at you family barbecue, they right there, oh girl, and the drinks all popping. You got the barbecue chicken, fish on the grill.
Stop, I'm hungry. No lie, my stomach's like, I love a good piece of grilled chicken and some potato salad.
That's my shot, grilled chicken.
You eat everybody's potato salad?
No, only two people. My aunt Melinda and my mom.
But yeah, if you're at I don't mind letting my hair down. Like, I'm a talker.
Right.
I naturally, I can be in a ladies' room and find dialogue and just start conversing about anything.
Now what if they like you in the middle of eating all your food at the barbecue? Because we about to go into we still got spring.
Yeah.
Spring is going to be nice. So you're going to be outside, and then the cousin come up to you. And they just start talking to you right at that moment. What you gonna say? Oh no, I'm vibing.
No, honestly, I think that it has to be about. I think Jay-Z said it right.
What did he say?
So it was a long time ago, but he was basically talking about a cousin where he's just trying to be at his grandma's house, and his cousin came up to him like, "Oh, I got this. I just need a whatever."
Yeah, I did.
And he was like, "I'm just here.
Right.
Like I'm not trying to talk about that. I'm just here."
So you saying we got to put a pause on people like
sometimes
that?
Yes, for people like that who have shown themselves to exhibit those traits, yeah. But a lot of times I don't want to allow situations that can be negative to negatively affect my character.
Right. You don't want to.
I don't want that to alter me.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be walking around like playing chess in my mind, like, all right, I'm going to do this, and then I can't do that.
Right.
And to be honest, the way I move, if you over my house at a cookout, these are people who I feel chilled with anyway.
Yeah, right.
If I have to put on, like, have to be so methodical and overthink, I don't want you in my space anywho, and I don't want to be in yours. But when it comes to appreciating your loved ones for their expertise, I'm very deep on you should be supporting if they're worth it.
There's an if.
You want to know why?
Words
Because
matter.
Words matter. You know why? Because we're the first ones to be like, no one supports us. Well, you have horrible customer service. You have horrible communication with us. You have horrible experiences. Like, so no, I don't want to support you. But my goal was to support you. And a lot of times you hear it.
So we basically just shut them down because of those things, but we don't uplift them and tell them how they can improve in these areas.
Hey, well, I like surveys. I believe in surveys. I believe in
that's nice.
Like now
how often you think somebody should get surveyed?
Every interaction.
I like that.
Every interaction.
Yeah.
There's always room for growth. No one has arrived. So there's always something that I can change, even if it's not something so negatively, but what if it's something I need to start implementing in my business structure?
Right.
Because we just said times have changed.
Yes.
You were struggling with the bike, right?
I was struggling with the toilet. Remember I told you?
You said I'm used to the button.
I'm like used to the push button, and you go to this restroom and they got the handle. I'm like,
Like, what do I do with this? What is this little thing?
I was about to go ask for help.
Excuse me, can't flush this.